Hello, class. You've come to the end of this short term, and I know if you're feeling tired by now, you should be. These are awful for, I think, everyone. So to complete the term, it's just a simple final examination. It'll consist of just one question. And I've been sort of hinting at that, mentioned that earlier in this particular assignment of this module, but I'll go into detail right now. You'll see it in writing when the quiz opens up. And I'm going to go ahead and just open it right now. So if you want to get started on it, you're absolutely welcome to do this. So here's what I have. Now, the stuff that you've read in this last module is really designed to help you to answer, what the human body is designed to do. And I mean it from multiple different perspectives, not just physically. It's what sort of resources are we designed to procure, and what is our body adapted for? But also, how we organize ourselves socially. What's the importance of social relationships on being able to get into the niches that we have? And because of that, what sort of requirements are there upon humans, and human-to-human communication, for example? So think about the examples that you've seen in the class of what it is to be human. And so you're going to be asked to tell your story of the human body. Here's what I'd like you to think about, though, in terms of what Dan Lieberman was trying to get at in his book, The Story of the Human Body. Dan tells us what the human is involved to do and the problems that go wrong when humans have created cultures that are not hospitable for the human body. And that's a completely huge gamut of issues, whether it be the source of invidious social relationships that have come from, agricultural and all the way on down to empires, and now we have these complex civilizations, but also the changes in our body needs of rest, exercise, leisure. Think about those things that humans really need to have, and what we've seen so far, and what you've read so far on Lieberman. Now, one thing about Dan Lieberman, and I actually know him personally, and this is why I use his book, is that he doesn't give you any answers about what to do about it. He really just states the problems, and he does this for a particular reason. And I agree wholeheartedly with Dan Lieberman about this. Is that the generation you're looking at right here, me. And previous generations of humans like myself have created, this world rather unwittingly, and for best purposes. Generally, everybody wants to have a bright future. It's just things have gone wrong. So it's our generations that don't have a clear vision of how to reproduce a good future. Our generation and teachers and older people should be saying, hey, we've gone in these directions and we've hit rocks. These are the bad issues. But we can't tell you how to create a future for yourself. It's really not our jobs. And it shouldn't be. Older people should not try to lead the world because, our lives are expiring and while yours are rising. So I want you to think about how would you go about changing the culture which you live in and in your life, and really what would you do in your own life, and maybe how you project your life is going to unfold. What would you do in the future to make sure that whatever you create is for this evolved body? When you're working through the paper, I want you to think about this. And this is what I'm looking for. This is a paper designed to convince somebody, and I mean, this is a speech that you might be telling someone. And to convince someone in conversation in these periods of time, you have 5 to 7 minutes. That's about it. You have to tell a good, impactful story in 5 to 7 minutes. In general, when you tell that story, you shouldn't be prescribing to people what they should do. You should be telling people, what I'm going to do, and telling the rationale why you're going to do it. I am doing this because of this, and that's the information you have in this class. Now, 5 to 7 minutes. I want you to think about when you're answering one question, what an actual length requirement would be. And that's a tricky subject, especially from my point of view when I'm reading something. What I do is I pick up the paper and I read your paper out loud. And I'm like, wow, and if I'm telling somebody this argument, it might actually convince them to change, positively. And when I get that, right in here, it hits me here, then you get a really good grade. Additionally, what else I look for is that when I'm in conversation with people who are lay people who aren't in my discipline, I have to be very careful about defining terms. So if I see a term like, they look at a species use gone through Homo erectus. If I just say, hey, in Homo erectus, and people looking at me like, what? Who are you talking about? You have to define. So when you say Homo erectus, by Homo erectus, I mean, but da 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 da. You have to kind of go with that rhythm by moving and defining in a way that educates people as they come along. All right. So I hope that helps you. Now, also in the paper, I'm not looking for references. And as far as the story of the human body, I know that book cover to cover. You don't need to tell me what page it's on. You can say, as discussed by Dan Lieberman, the story of the human body, because that's what you would do in conversation. You don't tell somebody, oh, Dan Lieberman, 2012, page 247. No, we don't want to do that. In this type of paper, okay? And plus, it would just take you way too much time. I don't want you to get too uptight about it. I kind of want you to just let it flow, All right, so that's the only question. It'll be a little bit more detailed. Well, actually, it won't be. It'll be a reflection in the question that you're going to see basically everything that I've just said. All right, so get to work on that one, and hopefully as soon as possible. All right, take care, bye.